Where's the video for the charcoal sachet? Where's the video for it? Like, I just...
I'm in my element, back in my element. I'm in my element, back in my element. I'm in my element, back in my element. I'm in my...
YouTube, what's up? It's Victor. And yeah, it's the time you've all been waiting for if you read the title of this video. Charcoal Sachet, how to make your own 3 years later. So I figured there's a lot of things I want to discuss on the channel, a lot of topics that are not related to this charcoal sachet thing. So I figured it's probably best I address this video like now, so that when I make those videos, I'm not going to see people in the comment section asking, oh, where's the video for the charcoal sachet? Where's the video for it? Like, I just want to get this out there and teach you guys how to do it. And yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. So if you watched my last video, as we mentioned, the charcoal sachet is a perfect tool for laying down large masses of shapes on the paper without permanently damaging the paper, so that you can easily erase and, you know, from there work layers on top of what you're doing. So here's what you need to make your own. So the first thing you need is a sock, preferably an old sock, and preferably one that's clean for obvious reasons. It's good if the fabric is breathable, and it's good if the fabric is smooth. If you want to keep the textural part of the shapes you're applying on the paper pretty smooth, then it's ideal to have a fabric that is smooth, that isn't roughly textured, so you can do that. Another thing you'll need is some kind of rubber band or a string, so that when you put the charcoal in the sock, you can then tie the sock so you can actually hold it. But obviously this is optional, it's not necessary, because you can just tie up the sock and it's the same kind of thing. Another thing you need as well is some kind of funnel, either a funnel or a spoon or something you can use to get charcoal powder into the sock. And obviously whatever you have, if you have a funnel, cool, because then you can make less of a mess. If you don't have a funnel, you can easily just use a spoon. Another thing you need as well, and obviously the most important thing you'll need for this whole process, is charcoal powder. Like, obviously you need charcoal powder to make the charcoal sachet, at least for this method, because I'm going to teach you the first, because in the last video I talked about two methods, two ways of making the charcoal sachet. So this is going to be the first way. The second way is pretty much deciphering and destructuring the EdgePro Gear charcoal sachet. But I'm kind of iffy about making a video on how to make it exactly like theirs. Like, I don't want to be sued. I don't want any issues, any legal issues or anything like that. But that second way of making it, I think I'm going to keep that in the background for now. But this first way, the way I'm teaching you now, is the way I've been using it for years, before eventually getting the EdgePro Gear sachet. But it pretty much works the same way. Like, there's only a slight difference, and I'll show you that difference in the video. So yeah, let's actually show you how to actually make this thing. So let's get into it. So here we are, table view of what we're working with. So as we said, we want to clean up this area just a bit. So obviously we need a sock. As a sock, I was able to come across some kind of old clean dry sock. Ideally you want it to be thin, so this one is pretty thin for the most part. You want it to be breathable. You don't want it to be too thick. You want it, like, obviously this one is pretty breathable. You can see by the material when I stretch it. So what I'm going to do is pretty simple. It's not really that complicated. I'm just going to get the funnel, and as I said, if you have a funnel, cool. If you don't have a funnel, you just get a spoon. You get a spoon, you put you put the charcoal powder in the sock. It's pretty messy, but that's just another way of doing it. You don't really need this. This is just to make less of a mess. Well, I guess you get the funnel, you put it in, we're good. And then you get charcoal powder. Just put it in. Put a generous amount of charcoal powder. And then you just want to make sure the charcoal powder goes into obviously into the hole in the funnel. You shake and you let it fall in.
One eternity later.
Okay, maybe just having a spoon would have just been easier, because this is way too much effort. Yeah, okay, just give me a second. I'm gonna get a spoon. Okay, we're back. So yeah, the funnel idea, I mean, it works when it works, but yeah, this was just taking too long for the video. If you have a bigger funnel with a bigger nozzle, probably use that. This is probably not a good idea, but you know, it doesn't matter. So yeah, I got a spoon here just to make life easier and quicker. So yeah, as we said, you open this up and you just get the charcoal powder, you pour it in. Very simple. And after doing that, like, you want to put enough, you want to put a lot of charcoal powder. I'm not going to put that much because, you know, I don't want to, I want to use my charcoal powder for other things. But just for demonstration purposes of the video, you know, you get the idea. You put the charcoal powder, you put enough to where it's a solid form. You know, you can make this as big as you want. You can make it as small as you want. To give you comparison size, this is the EdgePro Gear Sachet. And this is, you know, the one we just made here. I mean, it's pretty close. Pretty close. So what we can do is, if you want, you can tie it up like so and use it this way and just pull it down. You want to make sure it's tight enough to where you get the charcoal sachet or you get the charcoal powder being a solid at the bottom. You want it to be solid. And if it's not solid, that just means you need to apply more powder. But in this case, yeah, it's pretty solid. Pretty good. And that's the method number one, just tying it up. Method number two is just using a rubber band. Like so. It's probably a better method, to be honest. So then you have your charcoal sachet, EdgePro Gear charcoal sachet, our own little DIY version. And if you want, you can get a scissors, so you can cut this part off, which would probably make more sense. You don't want this, you know, what do you like, you know, extra fabric, it's unnecessary. So you can cut that off, and yeah, it's good to go. It's ready to go. You can use this for whatever you need it for. So now you're probably wondering, what is the difference between, you know, the EdgePro Gear version and what's the difference between our DIY version in terms of, you know, how it looks on paper. So I'm going to show you that. I'm going to demonstrate how it looks on paper so you guys have a clearer idea. Here's a little sketch pad I just got. So here we go. So here is the EdgePro Gear version. As you can see, I'm not, you know, doing anything crazy. It's EdgePro Gear, Edge, you know, is what it is. So if we want to make a shape, boom, 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 boom. Here's the EdgePro Gear version. Yeah, that's how it works. Here's our DIY version. So very similar. I think the only difference between the DIY and the EdgePro Gear version is the EdgePro Gear is more precise with the amount of powder that comes out of the sachet. It's like just the right amount, not too much, not too little. And sometimes this can be a good thing, but this could also be very annoying, because let's say you're working on a large drawing and you want, you know, a lot of charcoal powder going all over the paper. You can be like days, or okay, maybe not days, but you can spend a lot of time just like hitting the paper non-stop just to fill up, you know, the surface, to cover it with charcoal powder. But this, you know, just one dab, you have you have a pretty substantial amount of charcoal powder just like going all over the paper, and it's pretty dark as well. Issue with this is that when you want to be more precise, let's say you want to get you want to get like working on a face, so you want to be very precise with where you're applying the charcoal powder. Yeah, this can be a bit messy, but you know, if that's what you're going for, it's not a bad thing. So let me show you now how this looks like when you're erasing, because that's another important thing. The damage it has on the paper, or the lack of damage. So here's another charcoal and just another old charcoal sachet I just found lying around here. But yeah, like, this is the one I had before. This is just the one I guess we just made now. And it just goes to show you can make this any size you want. Like, this is pretty big. you know, same kind of thing. It's pretty small, same kind of thing as well. But yeah, eraser. So how does, so let's flip to a new page so we get a fresh set of paper. All right, so EdgePro Gear, our DIY. So EdgePro Gear, that's the, let me write it down here. Okay, that until it's broken. Okay, Edge. All right, and this is our DIY. So let me write it there. And let me apply this here. And call this DIY. All right, so the erase test. Pretty good. Now, DIY. Also pretty good. So even though the DIY is a bit darker, like just a bit darker, the it's just as, you know, it's just as less permanent, or it's just as unpermanent, or I don't know how you say this. It's just as it doesn't leave as much of a permanent damage on the paper to where you can erase, just like the Edge. So pretty much, you know, this is just another way you can do this stuff. Like, you don't need to spend $50-$60 on the EdgePro Gear tool. You can, if you want. It's probably a, you know, I guess it's a cool way to have something that, you know, if you've been doing this method long enough and you want to try another way of doing things, this is also a really cool way. Leaves just the right amount of, you know, just the right amount of charcoal. You don't get too crazy, like, whereas, you know, with this, or okay, maybe I should use this as a better example because this is already chopped off to the top. Whereas with this, so it's a lot of charcoal. Like, that can be annoying, you know? And this can also be annoying where it's not applying enough charcoal. So it really depends on your goals. Like, I just have both. Like, I use this a lot more often, but I also have this for when I want to work with larger pieces. So at the end of the day, it's really up to you. But either one is good. Like, this is just a cheaper method of doing it. All you need is a sock, some charcoal powder, and you're good to go. This, you need to spend $60-$50 and some shipping, and you're good to go. But either one is good. Just, I guess it's up to you and what you want. You're out, like, what you want and what your goals are. So yeah, 3 years later, that's how you make your own charcoal sachet from the comfort of your own studio, home, wherever. So yeah, I wanted to get this video out of the way so I can dive deeper into some topics and things I wanted to talk about. Purpose of the channel here is just to empower artists and share mastery. And I appreciate you guys, you know, sticking around for this 3 years, you know, for those who subscribed for this particular video. I hope you stick around for the next videos and topics that I'm going to discuss. My goal is to be more consistent with the channel, because I really want to help you guys get to levels that you've always been looking to get to with art, whether it's through, you know, working with galleries, whether it's through, you know, whether it's the day-to-day stuff, the business stuff, the content creation stuff, and even with the, you know, the technical part. Like, the thing about art is that there's a lot of videos out there that teach you how to do this, teach you how to do that. For me, that's not the purpose of the channel. I'm not looking to give tutorials on how to do this, how to do that. You know, I do have demos, like time-lapse videos where I have voiceover, so I talk about my process, and in those videos you can pretty much learn what I do and how I do them. But in terms of how to shade, how to do this, it's probably not the channel for that. But this is the channel for how to do content creation, how to build a business, how to self-improve, how to figure out your brand identity and your style as an artist, being in fairs, how to present yourself. So pretty much, you know, things that most people, most channels don't really talk about. That's the purpose and that's the goal for this channel. And I hope you like, subscribe, click on the bell notification icon, comment topics that you want to see now that you know the purpose of the channel. Yeah, this has been Victor. Till next time, see you soon.